Well, hello, true gardeners. Welcome back. So today we are in a cool corner lot front yard. So those of you guys who might have a little bit more space to work with and really like kind of a jazzy Alice in Wonderland kind of look, kind of, one layer on top of another layer and just kind of some fun, interesting features in a garden, then hang out because today's video is all about bringing out some really cool features. We did this landscaping a couple years ago and then came in as things grew up and added in a few more pieces. So I thought today we would shoot this video and share with you guys this cool front yard. The very first two things I want to start with are these cool mamma jammas behind me. These mass trees I think are so awesome. I just love the way they look. I love the way they frame the front of the house. I love their size. Are they huge? Yes. I absolutely love the way they look. This house has a nice large front entrance and I felt like this section of the house kind of drops down just a tad. So having something with some additional height kind of gives it balance. Now this is a big front corner lot, so I think it really called for some dramatic feel. Now you can do that with palm trees all day long, but if you like this kind of look, you kind of like that leaf structure, then why not try something a little bit unusual like these mass trees, because they are super cool and I do not have them yet in my garden. The next thing is this screw pine. So I'm gonna get Bryce to pop in a picture of what these guys look like when they get really big and mature because they are phenomenal. What an interesting sculpture in a garden. I just think that these are so unique, so different. Definitely it has to be kind of the right space. It has to be kind of the right look for your area. But if you have that spot and you're like, I kind of need something that really stands on its own, something that's really dynamic, something that I can let get big and get chunky, and this guy will do just that. And we've got several of them in this yard because they're gonna be showstoppers. As they grow in and mature over the next 5 to 10 years, they're gonna be even more stunning. And one of the next things I wanted to show off in this space is the centerpiece that we chose. Now, when you have something dynamic like these mass trees here, you don't want to put something too large or too bulky in front of it. So having something like the European fan palm that's going to take 20 years to get any real size to it is an ideal thing to incorporate because it is kind of a completely different palm structure, completely different look. You guys take a look at that. But isn't that kind of really a cool, interesting feel? You can really see what this European fan palm does in front of the window area on this blank space. I didn't want to have a big giant clustering behind this area, but we do have the open spaces on either side of the window here. So I chose a dwarfed croton. Now I know those don't look dwarf, but those are very old. I brought them in at 25-gallon size. So they're a nice big size for what is technically a dwarfed croton. So they're gonna grow super slow because it is a tight little area back there. They're related to the mammy crotons, but they're called the dwarf banana crotons. And they're on both sides here, offering a nice bit of pop of color from the road. I think they do such a good job of doing that without getting in the way of everything else. They're gonna really hold their own and stand compact together. Do not forget to hit that notification bell somewhere up here. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of content and you like to see me in your feed every once in a while. It is the perfect pat on the back that you guys do enjoy these videos after all, or don't do it and then maybe I will know that you just didn't like it and we'll try something different next time. No, I'm just joking. Then down below, it's gonna soften it with some sloppy painters at the base to really engulf the base of that European fan palm. Now, a lot of us love those fronds on the European fan palm, but not so crazy about the trunks on them. So I think that's gonna do a nice job of softening those trunks without losing the look of this upper canopy of the frond. Then we chose to bring in a decent sized boulder here in the center and then do a halo of bromeliads. These are Johannes bromeliads along the rear side of them and Margaret bromeliads along the front with a touch of foxtail agaves, just to kind of give this little centerpiece a little bit of an interest. Now, you'll notice that everything that we have to the front of the European fan palm is quite a bit smaller. Everything to the back is going to get quite a bit larger. So that's kind of the goal. You want to make sure your rear material is your big material and then you taper down from there. So these are never going to compete with what is behind it. And then we have a little clustering of petrocrotons on both sides just to give us another pop of color. Because keep in mind, this is what you see as you come around the curve in the front yard. I would say your eye is drawn to this particular spot quite a bit. So having some balance of some yellows and greens and some oranges and some reds, I really do think that's going to do a nice job of giving us that pop of color. And then we simpered it down a little bit. Then we went in with some nice 7-gallon dwarf Carissa boxwood. And those are going to kind of come around here and then break. And then we're gonna get into a little bit of the controlled planting because you guys know how I like a little mix of both. We've got the Mammy Crotons to the front, a nice sea of Mammy Crotons. And to brighten up those Mammy Crotons, we have some Java White Copperleafs, and they're really gonna become a nice backdrop to another accent that y'all know I like to use, which is the Queen Emma. We have 3 Queen Emmas coming right up the front driveway area in a staggered kind of triangular formation. They're still young, so they're gonna really flush out and become nice sized right there. But I think that's gonna do a beautiful job. Now we've got the Mammy Crotons here, but then we've got a clustering of Pinocchio Crotons here and right by the house there. This time of the year is more of like a fall coloring. During the summer, they're more of the reds and more of the yellows and just less orange. So I think that's a really good look. But overall, they're gonna come in around 4 foot tall, really kind of giving this some support in this area. I know up north, boxwood is kind of used more in a hedge-like formation, and you can use these guys this way, but I like to use them in this kind of ground cover formation where it's more rounded, more clumped, more individual instead of one solid grouping. So I pushed these far enough apart where these are gonna be maintained individually. They have a nice shiny green leaf and nothing that's gonna compete, nothing that's gonna come over into this way being 4 foot tall. They're always gonna stay a nice compact, smaller groupings. This is the emerald blanket variety of the Carissa boxwood, so it's on the smaller side of all the boxwood. And then of course we have our taller palm trees. We have the double Montgomery here, we have the Sylvester on the corner, and you guys already saw the screw pine anchoring the opposite sides. So we have some nice palm trees that are adding to the height of those mass trees, kind of giving the front some balance. All right, so if you guys have problem areas in your yard, no matter where they are, we all know we all have them and we are looking for remedies for them. So if your problem area is like Scott's problem area, which was right by the front door, where everybody saw, this was a nuisance space. This area had been planted multiple times and things just kept dying off. There was just too much moisture in this area. You can see this is a pretty large roof here and all the water collects, and even with gutters, it just pours into this particular spot. So when we had mulch and when there was plants here, it just always looked bad. It always needed fungus treatment. We couldn't plant much in the soil, and it was really hard to kind of make a squared off area look organic. So what we chose to do was bring in 3 coquina boulders like you see here, and then 3 pots. And you can see that they're both sharing the same angle, a triangular formation going forward with this being the centerpiece, and a triangular formation going forward with this being the centerpiece. We took most of the plant material and framed it around the middle. So we have some variations, some different elements in the garden. And then we took and put a Dioun palm as a centerpiece, some Imperialis bromeliads around the corners, and letting these little Margaret bromeliads at the bottom that are gonna drape down. This pot was huge getting in here. It was no easy feat, but my goodness, it needed to be something substantial. I couldn't put a little pot in this area and be like, well, it's all done. I needed 2 of the pots in the back to support the middle pot. Those 2 vertical pots with those 2 Song of India towards the back really helped frame this wide and chunky pot. We topped it off with some Tahitian gray granite at the base. And actually, believe it or not, these bromeliads right here are planted in larger pots. So that way they're protected from a little bit of that moisture. And you can do that without having any problems because they're getting their nutrients from the top, not from the roots. But they will die from root rot if they're sitting in water. So if you've got a wet area and you want to protect them, put them in a larger pot and then put them in the ground. However, to the back, I wanted something a little wild and crazy. So we went with some giant apostle iris because, as you guys probably know, I have these in my pond. These can grow straight in the water. They can be drought tolerant, so don't be afraid to use them. All right, you guys, so as wonderful as those features are, I have saved the best for last. I am in love with these particular accents in this bed over here. So we'll start with the first tree here, which is the Bismarck palm. This tree was planted by us a few years ago and has really grown in. We've got the regular size banana leaf crotons to the back. And then we've got some Mammy crotons kind of crossed along the front here. And those are great. They're going to be a nice low maintenance planting right by the driveway. But what I love, the combination of the boulder, the Yucca rostrata, the triple bottle palm. I just love the way that looks. And then a halo of petrocrotons to the back. So we've got a couple farfugiums at the base of the bottle palm. Now you can do that in what would technically be a full sun environment because these trees right here and that bottle palm are offering enough shade for that Farfugium to flourish, and not only flourish, but bloom, bloom, bloom like crazy. It's not stopped since we planted it. They're super happy in that spot. So all of that added coverage is really helping them just do so well in that spot. And then to the back there, as I mentioned, those are Petrocrotons, and the color on those are absolutely stunning. Again, they do so well with a little bit of protection from the sun, and that little spot right there just does it just for them. We really worked with the curve. You can see that curves out, then we have a drop in here and then curve back out here. When you have a drop in anywhere or when you have a pop out, those are two really good areas to kind of create something that draws your eye. And I think that this little section right here just draws your eye right to this bed. Having the centerpiece coquina boulder, you can see it's kind of elevated up. It's kind of working with the grade of the yard, which is pretty much what we mean is we just kind of dug out the front a little bit, pitched it in, and then took the soil that we dug out and put it to the back so it's lifted up. So it makes the boulder look and appear like it's inset into the ground. And then took the rear side of it and framed it with these Yucca rostratas. Yucca rostratas are thornless. You can kind of go right along this end and touch them without any kind of problems. They do have a little bit of a point at the leaf, but it's not something that's going to stab you. It's just a little point. These will stay small for a good period of time. They grow very, very slow, approximately 4 to 6 inches a year. So pretty slow growing accent feature. But when they get bigger, that's when they really come to town. Kind of got a cool trunk, and then the leaves kind of fall down a little bit. I'll see if I can get Bryce to post a picture of what they look like, because they're just so stunning when they get a little bit of size to them. This is a King Alexander here to the back, a single King Alexander. Then we've got a coconut palm and a coconut palm on either side. This little area, we have some black magics clustered together for a wild look. See all of that woody stemness? That I do not love. And so these guys, as they mature, and they mature very quickly, they're going to come in and fill in all around this base. And that's what's going to give you that dark, dark color and that little bit of that wild look once that all comes together and starts to happen. What we were looking at was the other side of the driveway. Now we were on the main side. So we are on the final corner of the lot. This was just meant to be a buffer planting. So if you guys have that corner of the lot, maybe you've got a long fence like my customer Scott has here, and you kind of want to soften that fence. We chose to put a Lucie hedge to the back that softens that fence line look. And then to give them real privacy to the backyard, look at how beautiful those fishtail palms are. Nice dark green, big clumping. We have a nice grouping. I think there's 4 back there, believe it or not. Planted 3 years ago, and look how gorgeous and beautiful they look today. All right, so we have another centerpiece palm, the silver Bismarckia palm. This guy is just beautiful and stunning and large, backed by the black magic like we have on the opposite side. We have the dwarf screw pine variety, these guys that stay small, don't get big, and I think that just adds a little bit of a little bit of interest. And then because this yard is so large and it is on such an open street, we really wanted like a powwow, a punch of something big at the very end, at the very corner. So we have a Hong Kong orchid right at the end of this yard. And oh my goodness, look at these dancing blooms. Look at just how stunning. And if you guys are here that time of the year, this time of the fall season into spring, then this is a tree that you might want to consider in your garden, because although it does get big, it blooms those months of the year and gives you the best coloring. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed some of these favorites that we talked about today. If you guys have my book, you know my 50 favorite plants and trees that I use very, very often throughout my landscape designs, and I've used over the past 25 years and had super success with it. We will be sure to post the link down below of our book on Amazon. We are very super proud of it, and we hope that you guys will enjoy it and get a lot of good information for your gardens. Those of you guys who need a little bit more information than that, then please reach out to us. We offer 3 services. Of course, I'm a landscape designer, so we do landscape designs and we do landscape installations if you're in our area. We also offer a complete landscape design service master plan, where if you're looking to have it done over time or you're looking to work directly with a contractor, this is a plan that you can take and transfer it right to a contractor and have them install it over a period of time. Or if you are looking for just that tough spot in your garden, you're not really sure what to do in a particular spot, I offer 1-hour virtual consultations. That's with me. We look at pictures of your particular spot. We walk through them together on the phone like a Zoom meeting, and then I overlay the plants and trees on my computer to kind of share with you what I would do in your space. So if there's any of those services that'd be helpful to you guys, then reach out to us. You'll reach Marissa and she'll let you know all the details and see if we're going to be a good fit for what you're looking for. Thank you guys so much for visiting with me today at this beautiful home. I will see you guys next week in next week's garden tour. Take care.